Hey there. Welcome back to the Schools of Excellence podcast. This is an interesting conversation about what summer enrollment actually brings up for people. And more so than anything, every summer, the same thing happens. Okay. You have programs that start to feel this impact of summer. Seats are not filling up as fast. There's more inquiries. There's fewer commitments. There's more competition than expected. And there's kind of this immediate reaction that happens. And leaders will tell themselves, I need to push harder. We need to push harder. We need to do more posts. We need to do more promos. We need to create more urgency. But what's actually happening actually has nothing to do with effort. It's exposure of your infrastructure gap. Summer reveals whether you actually have an enrollment system and infrastructure around your enrollment, or you just have a lot of heroics and momentum. Okay. So what you want to understand, and I want to help you kind of expand the competitive reality. Okay. Right now, you're not just competing with other schools. Okay. With summer, you're competing with church camps, other faith-based camps, VBS, specialty camps, other family care options. And all people are pulling, all of these options are all pulling from the same families at the same time with different price points, with different scheduling options and different expectations. And so what happens is you have a compressed high pressure enrollment window, which means if your enrollment ecosystem only works when things are easy and predictable, it's going to break here. It's going to become a complete house of cards collapsing. So a lot of leaders are still operating from an old data set. We usually fill up by March. Families will commit early. Dears, this is no longer reliable. Okay. Families today wait much longer before they make a decision about the summer. They do way more comparisons, especially in a world of AI. They prioritize flexibility. They delay the commitment because they're like, well, I don't know what's going to be. I'm not sure what we're going to do. I don't know what our family's going to be like. I don't know what we want to do. Okay. And so leaders will say things like, oh my God, something's really off this year. We're not seeing things in the way that we usually do. The environment changed. But your ecosystem and the system to operate and fill those spots didn't change. Okay. So let's go deeper here. If you are a leader of a school, a camp, whatever it is, you're a leader of an institution who is trying to fill summer enrollment. Okay. The way that many people respond to this gap is they increase activity. They post more. They send more emails. They discount. They extend offers. But none of that fixes the actual issue because the problem is actually not visibility. The problem is that you don't have a system that converts the delayed decisions. I'm going to say that again. The problem is not visibility. Some of you might have a visibility problem. That is something we tackle inside of Enrollment Engine, which I'll talk about soon. It's a specific training that walks you through how to increase your enrollment by 25%, whether that's enrollment for your kids, camp, school, doesn't matter. Okay. You don't have a system that converts delayed decisions. So every person that says not now or ghosts you or just doesn't reply or says, I'm still thinking about it or says, could you give me more information? Could you tell me how much money it costs? Can you tell me this? Right. And you're going in this ping pong back and forth with them on these things. If you don't have a actual system that converts people who delay decisions, you lose that lead. It doesn't mean that that parent is not going to sign up. They are the delayed decisioners, if that's even a word. But you lose the lead because you don't have a system to follow up with them. Okay. So the vast majority of schools and infrastructures, whether that's again, camp, faith-based organizations, institutions, whatever it is, there actually is no structured lead tracking. You think you have it, but actually no one really follows your system. Okay. There is massive incongruencies and inconsistencies in follow-up. Some people get followed up on an hour later. Some people get followed up on a day later. Some people get followed up on 2 days later, depending on what's going on in the school. There's always something, right? So, we really wanted to reply back to the lead within 2 hours, like it says in the standard, but oh my God, we were short staffed and, this person was out and this person had a baby and this person threw up and there was a diaper blowout over there and I couldn't. There's no ownership of the conversion process. And there's no thinking around what does it mean to actually work through this pipeline. And so what happens is that enrollment for your summer camp program or your school only works when families are ready now. They're ready immediately. They're ready to show up. They got their credit card. But what if they're not? Then you lose them. And that's an infrastructure gap. That's an infrastructure gap. Okay. Strong enrollment systems capture things. Every inquiry becomes a tracked lead, not just someone who's ready to enroll today. It becomes a lead that you nurture and connect with until they're actually ready. And you make invitations and offers to them when they're ready. This is not being salesy. This is not being pushy. It's inviting people into the next step of the journey. Another thing that enrollment infrastructure actually does, and this is what we teach inside of Enrollment Engine, and you could click the link in the show notes to find out more about it and invest in that asset for your school. This is an asset that you get lifetime access to and that you can consistently go back to as you expand and grow infrastructure inside of your companies. Okay. The other thing that we do inside of Enrollment Engine and that great schools do is a no is a not yet. It's not a no. It's a not yet. When you don't have a system that separates that, you treat both of them as the same. No is okay, no versus not yet. No. You got to separate those things, right? I'm sharing just a couple of things here. Okay. And the third thing is follow up on rhythm, not once, not randomly. There is a consistent rhythm of follow-up until a decision is made. There is a consistent rhythm of follow-up until a decision is made. When you follow up, we're like, I followed up. All right, how many times did you follow up? You followed up twice, 3 times? That's great. Do you know what the actual data is around follow-up? It's like 8 to 12 times. Did you follow up with that person 8 to 12 times? If you didn't, you probably lost them maybe at the 6th check-in, and then they went with someone else who happened to also be actually having the system. And then that person actually invited them into their school or their camp. Okay. The fourth thing, actually, there are 4 things, is building forward, not just filling now. Okay. Summer is not just about filling seats in your summer camp. It should be a feeder also for full enrollment. It should build relationships for next year's summer season. You have some people who will only send to your summer camp. No problem. Are you cultivating and building that relationship? It could be not now, not this summer, but next summer, right? This is how you create future conversions. If summer ends and you did not expand your pipeline of people inside of your ecosystem, here's what happens. You start over every year. And of course you're exhausted, tired, overwhelmed, and frustrated because every year you feel like you're starting over, but you actually are because you've never built that pipeline and that infrastructure. Okay. Now, when you don't have this system, you rely on urgency. You discount to compensate. You feel constant pressure. Your numbers become unpredictable. And most importantly, you never actually create a predictable, reliable enrollment season or system. You survive it. You brace your way through it, right? You know how many people I speak to like, oh my God, we're just getting through this enrollment season. It doesn't have to be like that. Okay. So if you're listening to this and you're recognizing that you have leads slipping through and you don't have a clear follow-up system and enrollment feels reactive instead of reliable and predictable, you are not missing more effort or more checklists or more processes or more systems. You are missing infrastructure. That's what we build in Enrollment Engine. This is not about getting more leads. It's about understanding how do you capture the ones you already have? How do you convert delayed decisions? How do you build a pipeline that fills your school year round? Because when you build that infrastructure, you stop chasing enrollment and your enrollment actually starts to compound itself. Right? If your enrollment only works when families are ready to say yes today, you don't have an enrollment strategy. You have good timing, but good timing doesn't scale. Good timing doesn't build infrastructure. Good timing doesn't pull you out of the weeds where you can have a predictable, reliable system that your entire team can count on. So if you want to install this, right, it's not just let's go learn it. No, Enrollment Engine is about installing this infrastructure. When you invest in Enrollment Engine, you now have an asset in your business that helps you build repeatable enrollment cycles and infrastructure in your organization. So even when someone is out, they know what to do. You build the repeatable infrastructure that people follow. So I invite you to check out the link in the show notes. You can go to the schoolsofexcellence.com/enrollment engine. Check it out. This is a mark in the sand, if you will, a line in the sand where leaders, and I invite you to ask yourself this, which is, do I feel like I should just do it one more time? Or like this year is going to be different? Or stop telling yourself that you're going to do it one more time. I'm going to fix it one last time. I'm going to show them the system one more time. I'm going to rewrite that spreadsheet one more time. I'm going to rewrite that checklist one more time. I'm going to update that, Asana board or ClickUp board one more time. That is not going to solve it. You need infrastructure. You need infrastructure inside of your organization. All right. Check the link in the show notes. Thanks so much for joining me.